I don't know about you. We both flew back on Tuesday, and I landed at around 7:30 at JFK. And like the whole time I was on the flight, I was thinking, 8 p.m. deadline coming up soon. Are we going to? Am I going to land in New York to news that nuclear war has started? Am I going to enjoy my time back at home before being reduced to a potential cinder following President Donald Trump's 8 p.m. deadline to Iran before he, quote, wipes its civilization off the face of the earth? Well, I was feeling pretty good about how everything was going, how everything went in LA. I felt the 10th anniversary show was a triumph. It was great to come home, but it was even greater to land and then be appraised of the news that there is potentially a ceasefire deal. And the conflict is very much unresolved. But if this holds in any way, shape, or form, I got to say, all glory to Iran. One of the greatest strategic defeats of the United States, certainly in our lifetime. But I don't know, like it was surreal to consider that like this fucking lunatic had literally pushed us to the brink of nuclear war, threatening a country with a preemptive atomic attack. But then to see Tuesday night that it was a ceasefire between America and Iran, and that Iran was still fucking pummeling Tel Aviv with ballistic missiles, I was like, that felt pretty good. But like, what do we make of the state of this proposed ceasefire deal so far?
Yeah, I pretty much had the exact same thing. And to make matters worse, I was on United, which has like a funny prank on passengers, likes to make it so that the Wi-Fi shits out 7 times per flight. So it was every time, we drew 30 minutes closer to 8 o'clock Eastern time, it would shit out. So nerve-wracking, but in retrospect, look, we don't know what will happen, and judging by previous ceasefires or proclaimed ceasefires where Israel does not hold up its end of the bargain, it is very possible that it just returns to status quo. But in retrospect, the obvious answer seems to be that Trump knew he was at least going to proclaim that they had accepted Iran's 10-point proposal right before he made that threat, so they could make it look like Iran backed down in the face of his nuclear threat. That is, going by his pattern now, that seems quite obvious. Just anything to obscure the absolute humiliation of the great Satan throughout this entire thing. Because no, it is, this is unambiguously, I think, there have been other humiliations in the United States, but none quite like this. None by a, largely conventional force in this way. The other humiliations were, drawn out battles in the course of an occupation, which is to take nothing away from those who carried out those insurgencies, but to do it in this fashion, for Iran to pretty much take on the entire GCC, the American Anglo-Israeli axis, and so much more. That was truly spectacular.
Yeah, and to get to this point, they say that they will reopen the Strait of Hormuz if this plan is adhered to. But as always, the issue is Israel. And the fact that, look, they think it's a disaster that they were cut out of these that America essentially agreed to begin talking on these terms without consulting them. But they're doing everything in their power right now to make sure that this deal does not happen. And the point of contention is Lebanon, South Lebanon and Beirut, where they are unleashing yet another Holocaust right now. I'm in a group chat with someone who is from Lebanon and is in Beirut now. And they said that just the other night was as bad as it's ever been in Lebanon in terms of the scale of the bombings and killings going on in Lebanon right now. And, Trump and JD Vance tried to pretend that they're oh, the Iranians, we thought that they weren't talking about Lebanon. They're trying to exclude Lebanon from the ceasefire
That was
proposal.
One of their 10 points.
Yeah,
that is why
it's very clear.
Proposal. Yeah, if they didn't think that, then they didn't read the fucking thing.
And also, like this 10-point proposal is something that's been on the table for like a month already. Like this is
Yeah.
what they offered at the outset of the war, and then like as you said, like Trump is pretending. Trump is pretending like they offered it in because they were so afraid of getting potentially nuked by the United States. And I think it's clear that like this is the road that Israel wants the United States and the world to go down. They want to make sure that the sort of chain of escalation leads to a situation in which America will feel like it has no choice, to potentially drop a nuclear bomb on Tehran, which is insane. Like, Felix, like this is insane. Like, out of like all of the things that I've had the mispleasure of having to live through, I really feel that that statement by Trump threatening to wipe a civilization off the face of the earth was like one of the craziest and most evil things that I ever have had, like the misfortune to be alive during.
Yeah, that represented an entirely new low, I think.
Yeah, but like the fact of the matter is, like we spent like weeks now talking like, are they going to try to like do a ground invasion? Like, are they going to commit ground forces? Are they going to try to take Skull Island? And then there was that whole weird thing over the weekend with like the fighter pilot that they rescued. Like, I that story was very opaque to me. But I mean, it seems like bullshit to me. I mean, I know they did get the pilot back, but I'm sure that that was like whatever they were doing there was like some sort of cover for another operation. That's neither here nor there. But like the point is that they do not want to invade this country because they know how bad it will be. And I'm sure like the military has told him as much, and this is why Pete Hegseth keeps firing people. But like Felix, like over the weekend, I was literally like, I'll take a military coup now, please. Because like Congress isn't going to do shit.
No.
Yeah, like I will take just a general going on TV and saying, I am the state now. We have removed all civilian leadership from the United States government because like what else is going to fucking stop this shit?
Yeah.
I mean, but the answer is the people and the military of Iran. Because like there is no credit to be claimed here for anyone in America. You know, like I can't judge people too harshly. It certainly wasn't. Obviously, this war is extremely unpopular, but like the fact that the United States has been brought to heel to the extent that it has so far, and again, this is a big if. Like I said, the parameters of this conflict are still very much. It's an open question. It's very much unresolved. But all credit to like the resilience of the Iranian state and the people of Iran to withstand just like a mind-boggling level of violence directed at civilian targets, and then like for their military to very clearly, despite everything we've heard in our media, very clearly still has the capability of responding and retaliating to every escalation that is thrown their way. And like
Right. That represented a high point of the weekend. That
yeah,
after all this, after everything, that they still fucking pounded Tel Aviv, pounded it, just like the repeated claims that we controlled the airspace over Iran, that we're 3 weeks from it, that we're a short 7 years from it. The simultaneous claim was that was they've already run out of missiles. We've been hearing that from day one,
yeah.
and maybe by the time that we get control of their airspace, that will be true, but I don't know.
And like, I guess the other fascinating thing to observe here is, the reaction of the Democratic leadership and party, like facing this situation now. And like, what did they do after this ceasefire plan was announced in theory? They did the taco thing again.
Its nuclear ambitions. Iran still has its nuclear stockpile. Its nuclear ambitions are still unchecked, if not accelerated.
And they're like, oh yeah, Trump chickened out on taking the world to fucking nuclear war. Like that's the message they're going with here, which is just insane to me. And like none of them can just make an outright case that they are opposed to this war on principle. They keep saying like, oh, Trump needs to come to the American people in Congress and make clear what his plan is. It's like, you know what the plan is to kill as many people as possible. And then like the ease with which they talk about like, is this about Iran's nuclear program? Which like first of all, they don't have nuclear weapons. And like, second of all, we said that was done like last summer when we bombed the uranium enrichment facilities. But now it's just about their missiles. And they're like, well, you know, I mean, if Iran has to fire 2,000 missiles, that's 2,000 missiles that they don't have. And it's like, they weren't firing them before we fucking attacked them. Same with the Strait of Hormuz. That shit was open. And now, incredibly, like that's become the justification for this war. But what the war has done essentially has totally cemented their control over this like incredibly economically and geopolitically important chokehold. We're like, now that they set up a fucking toll booth there, and I doubt they're going to give it up. Why should they? And not only that, they better I've said it so many times before. They better fucking take this pause and develop nuclear weapons like immediately.
Yeah,
They better do that
if they
ASAP.
don't. Yeah. If you want to look at like and by the way, like if you're trying to get inside the minds of Democratic leadership and most elected Democrats for you know what is their desired outcome here? Because Taleb and Omar were the only ones I saw who were like 25th Amendment, maybe not to where we're at of free officers movement, but you know, one can hope that they get there. But I think it is that, okay, so most likely if there is a even somewhat normal presidential election next, the next president will be a Democrat, and hopefully the big benefit we get out of this is that a Republican did the thing that we know would also be monstrously unpopular, but that we have promised our donors we will also do, which is to take out and demilitarize Iran. To do to Iran what has been done to Syria and what is being done to Lebanon.
And Libya, and and they're quite open about that.
But Libya, yeah, but most specific, like Syria, if you want to look at what the modern design of the GCC neocon Zionist axis wants for any nation that dares to defend its sovereignty against Israel, it is Syria, and it is what they are currently doing to Lebanon with only Hezbollah as the only bulwark against that. It is a state where just any type of military capability, much less any type of ballistic missiles, forget nukes, just anything that can project any type of strength, both
sovereignty
beyond
of any kind.
and within their borders is too much. That is too much of a threat for Israel. And I think if you're Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer or Gavin Newsom, for that matter, it is very attractive to have the idea that this already woefully unpopular president and administration takes the hit of doing the thing that you know would have a similar outcome on your administration.
Yeah, like, no, it's the best of everything for them, because Donald Trump will do the thing that their donors have been cajoling them to do forever, and that they can't really oppose on any kind of, I don't know, basic principles or morality. That like we cannot just be like attacking countries that have that we're currently negotiating with, and also like pose no threat to America.
Yeah. The news for them is if this doesn't end, you know, with this 10-point plan, then it will keep going into any Democratic administration. And guess what? You thought fucking Gaza was bad for Biden, just fucking wait. Fucking wait.
And like, you know, you mentioned Gaza. Like what they're doing in South Lebanon right now is just Gaza Part 2. It's quite clear.
Yeah. That particularly horrifying because it has been known by people who watched this for a while. John Dolan, the war nerd, and Mark Ames have talked about it extensively. Just the open sectarianism, the Christian and agnostic takfiris of Washington, D.C. And really, I mean, just the openly like, no, we don't want any Shias living anywhere in South Lebanon is quite out in the open now. It has been a matter of policy for over for decades at this point, but now it is completely out in the fucking open.
Wasn't the Israeli military warning Christian villages in South Lebanon not to, quote, shelter any Shiite Lebanese in their homes or in their communities?
Yeah,
and frank shit. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. I've just seen so much horrifying shit from people who are like, not even, forget being from any of these countries, are not even Muslim and are speaking in these gravely insane sectarian terms that you would never see, that you used to never see this openly said unless it was the most insane FDD spokesperson or like one of those truly fucking lunatic people where you check their location, it says in their bio that they live in London. That's everyone
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
One of those guys that said they crawl around on the floor like snakes and they need to be killed. And you go, where do you live? And it is in West End. They live in the Pet Shop Boys song.
Felix, I have been enjoying the seeing the reactions from the plan trusters who are all trying to declare that this is an unambiguous victory for Donald Trump, which is like, they don't even believe it. Like, it is some of the most
so hollow.
It's some of the most half-assed attempts to, like, I don't know, like retcon this thing into a big dub for the United States of America. And as best I can tell, like, they keep coming back to the same things over and over again, that we destroyed their Navy and that we killed a lot of people. But it's just like, wait a second.
What year is it? What year? What is it, like 1783? Like, we said no frigates for the Persians and we did it. What fucking year is it?
Well, like, once again, like, what have we forced? Well, like, what concessions have we forced out of the Iranian government? None that I can see. And in fact, it looks like they are about to enforce their terms on us. Because, yeah, if you thought post-COVID inflation was bad, what like I said, like, they know where this leads. And like I said, they know that they haven't been able to stop them from firing missiles or retaliating. Like I said, they just shot down like 6 fucking planes. And we had to do some fucking behind enemy lines rescue mission for that fucking asshole, who got shot down. So like, yeah, like it seems like they are enforcing their terms on us. And like, and I guess like if you're a plan truster, you just like, you're leaning really heavily on the fact that we've killed like X amount of members of their government. But like, if someone killed like the top 40 people in the executive branch of the government right now, like the United States wouldn't collapse. No, neither would our military. And like Iran is significantly
honestly, I think we would do a lot worse than they have in these.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
honestly, it seems like they were specifically planning for this more than we ever. Yeah,
I mean, like I'll tell you who is not happy about this are the Israelis. I mean, if you looked at Israeli Twitter on fucking Tuesday night, they were losing their fucking minds over this. They said this is the worst humiliation that their country has ever had to endure.
Well, it is really shameful that someone dragged them into this war.
Yeah.
It's just so, it is really unfortunate. It's like how your mom warns you that some of your friends are going there in life. That is, they're reflecting on this. And
just like the fucking audacity.
We absolutely did not start this. We haven't asked for this for 48 years.
The fucking audacity of these people, Felix, like when they're like, we cannot let this war end with like the regime still in charge. Like, like they still have their uranium. Like, we have to finish the job. It's like, what's this we shit? If you want to do it, go ahead.
Like we have been very clear in this on this show that like, regardless of how uninteresting and how sort of oversimplifying the eternal debate over like, is it an imperial proxy or does it control, X American policy, is that at this point, America and Israel are the same entities. But this is, I think that is largely true. That is largely the case. We are the same satanic entity dragging the world into oblivion. But once in a while, Israelis will remind you that they specifically are the most annoying people in the fucking world. And it's times like this. It is starting a war and like expecting the body in the what is that thing from Krang? What is Krang from?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, the body, they're demanding the body on Krang to commit to this thing that they explicitly demanded. And it's like, what world do you fucking live in? They're acting like they're doing us a fucking favor. With this, it is insane. No one in the fucking world acts like this. No one acts like this. It is just like how no one else has this national impulse and delusion that they can go to Thailand and pick fights with random people. It's the same thing. It is the same thing. There's never been a more arrogant and detestable people.
And coming back around to like the Democrats and like how they're our opposition party and how they're responding to all this. Like a question that they cannot answer right now, or like that they are twisting themselves into fucking knots. They're doing those like they're twisting themselves into like knots that only sailors can tie, or people who are into
Certainly
bondage.
not our sailors at this point.
Yeah. The question is, did Israel drag us into this war? And
yeah,
lo and behold, the New York Times has reporting recently about how Netanyahu came to Washington, D.C. in February, met with Trump in this Situation Room, and pitched him on this war. And Trump said, okay. And look, like, once again, he could always just say no. I mean, but seemingly in both parties, saying no to Israel is just like considered an impossibility, apparently. So, like, I guess under that fucking framework, then like obviously they dragged us into this fucking war. It's like, can anyone make the case that were Israel like not a thing, or like if it were a regular country that didn't have like such a totally outsized influence over our Congress and our government, that America would have committed itself militarily to a conflict like this? Once again, like against a country that poses no threat to America, like that we had already negotiated under Obama a peaceful solution to their nuclear program, and that like they were continuing to offer concessions up until we kept killing the fucking people that they were negotiating with us. And by the way, apparently, okay, so this deal that's on the table is going to be brokered by Pakistan. Who is Donald Trump sending to negotiate this? Witkoff and Kushner. Those two fucking stooges, which are like, I'm sorry, I mean, to me, dual loyalty is not selling it hard enough. They have one loyalty and one loyalty only. They have a single loyalty. And if I were, I mean, someone made this point the other day, I reposted it, but like, if Trump only sends Witkoff and Kushner, Iran should just kill them. They should blow up the spot that the meeting is in. Like, not only as payback, but like we've already established that that's okay. That you can just kill civilian diplomatic envoys because they're part of a government that like we consider evil or a threat to the United States.
Yeah, 100%.
There is no fucking way that Witkoff and Kushner are going to negotiate anything on behalf of the United States and what is our actually national interests. It is only Israel.
Could you imagine what Ivanka's first grid post after Jared gets killed by a Shahid is going to be like? Because it will take a while for there to be a grid post. There will be some stories. It'll be like
close friends. It'll start with close friends.
Close friends. Like, ooh, just got some bad news. Ooh, I'm holding off on telling our kids. And then, a few Spotify screenshots, like getting back into the Killers recently.
You'll always be my Mr. Brightside, Jared.
I never. Yeah, and then 7 weeks later, like black and white photo of Jared. It's like a photo dump. It's a Jared photo dump where Jared's only in half the photos because it is part of a sponsor, like it is sponsored content. It's also like she forgot to do her sponsored post with the smoothie chain restaurant Joe and the Juice. So half the photos are of Jared, and then the other half are just her like, I love the Choco Hulk smoothie. I love it. After when your husband is killed by a Shahid drone and you need a meal replacement, this is what you should drink. If this happens to you, I can't wait. Like, that will be Steve Witkoff. I don't know anything about his life. I don't know if he has a wife who is also doing SpawnCon. I couldn't care less. But I am really looking forward to that.
Like on this issue of like how nobody in either party really can like. They're trying to find a way out of saying that this war is entirely of Israel's making and that the United States is just being led around like a fucking dog by this lunatic suicidal death cult, essentially. He can't say it because that's anti-Semitic. And what we're left with now is a situation where Tucker Carlson is like the most prominent American media or political figure that is saying outright what everybody knows to be true. And look, like, how do I feel about Tucker Carlson? Well, I mean, like, he campaigned as hard as possible to make Donald Trump president. So no great fucking credit to him for saying. But like, the thing is, do you know how fucking embarrassing it is for liberals that Tucker Carlson, that you have seeded the entire playing field, the entire battlefield of this like immensely, enormously consequential issue by which the vast majority of the American public is opposed to, is against it. And they know Israel's role in fucking goading us into doing this. Do you know how fucking embarrassing it is for liberals that like there's nothing Tucker Carlson is saying right now that can't be said by fucking any other prominent Democratic media figure. And like a lot of them are coming around. You know what I mean? Like, have you noticed over like just in the last week, all like the centrist libs have like out of nowhere have just said, I'm talking about like Noah Smith and Matt Yglesias, like the Pod Save America guys. They have all come out. Pod Save America is a little different. I'm going to put them in a slightly different category than like Yglesias and Noah Smith. But it cannot have gone unnoticed that Yglesias, who is like the perfect fucking bellwether for like, he's just a fucking human windsock. But like, it should be very telling that just like a couple days ago, he comes out being like, well, of course, America should cease military and diplomatic support for Israel. They're not a good ally. And he has given up the ghost entirely and is advising. He is now saying, well, like, of course, all Democratic politicians and presidential candidates, they of course, they shouldn't support Israel, And he's just pretending like he's always felt that way. But like they're saying it like it's like something that we all know.
You should feel about that the same way that you do with, fucking Gavin Newsom saying that Israel's an apartheid state. This is like, okay, so these people, their big storyline before all this, in the aftermath of the 2024 election was that like the Democratic Party is like too woke, left liberalism's too woke, which, in light of the fact that all of these people for the past nearly 3 fucking years have sounded exactly like the people, the anarchist accounts that would make block lists centered around me when it comes to Israel and anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
That they're using the exact fucking language. This is the one thing where it's okay to like, kind of be unpopular and, take one for the team. They were right there with like the most cynical and cloying deployments of IDPOL when it could be used as a cudgel of the left. It's the same thing with like Tucker. Tucker was, he never saw a neocon policy he did not fucking love and trumpet during his first round of his media career.
Yep.
Not even to mention going out of his way to try and get Donald Trump elected 3 times, despite knowing what the fucking deal was. He's not an idiot. He knows what the score is. He knows who is closest to him. It at the very least calls into question their fucking judgment. And certainly their credibility and how trustworthy they are, which is not at fucking all.
But it does show you that, like, I mean, of these, like, completely cynical worms like fucking Iglesias or Tucker. Look, Iglesias, leaving him aside, I'll take it from fucking Tucker here. Like I said, like,
oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, like, I can only condemn him so fucking far. I mean, I'll take any support possible because, like I said, we were on the verge of potentially for a United States president to openly threaten another country with like a preemptive nuclear attack, to openly threaten like a genocidal, to wipe a civilization off the map. The stakes of that could not be fucking higher. Like if that happens, like with like human civilization may go away. So I'll take any I'll take any support being offered right here for cleaving the United States from Zionism, from the state of Israel. And like that, like, because the stakes are so high right now, like I cannot, it is not an endorsement of Tucker Carlson to say that like what he is saying to like is necessary for someone to fucking say right now.
Looking a little bit like Gaza. And of course, that's the point of Operation Eternal Darkness. But what does it look like on the ground? Again, these are civilians who were murdered by the Israeli military using American weapons and American tax dollars to do it in order to stop a ceasefire that the American president happily announced to the great relief of the American people. All of it stopped by Operation Eternal Darkness.
Right. I mean, all these things, all these things like, him or, candidates for that matter, or like there's anti-Semitic tropes and this or that. Okay, can we figure that out after we are not on the brink of the series Threads?
Yeah.
Due to the
Threads,
shitty
exactly.
little country with fewer people than fucking Manhattan. After that, first things first. After we figure out that, then we can focus on any of this. But this being at the brink of civilizational oblivion for this piece of shit country, first things first.
Yeah. And again, like, if it upsets you to see Tucker Carlson so much, or you worry about, is this going to cause a rise in anti-Semitism? No shit, it will. Because I'm sorry, like, Israel is the country doing this. And it's like, like it is their fucking control of our government. And like, they are the ones loudly announcing to everyone that like Judaism and the state of Israel is inseparable. And that like everything they're doing is about protecting the state of Israel and protecting Jewish people and America, the world over. Fucking deal with it. That's your problem, not mine. Like, because the stakes here are like, at the very least, there is no future worth living in for this country. There is no peace or safety or prosperity for anyone in this country until, like I said, we completely cleave ourselves of the influence of the Zionist lobby and the state of Israel on our government. And that means cutting them off militarily, diplomatically, and also purging our government, intelligence agencies, and the Pentagon of people that are like directly agents of the Israeli state. All of it. That's the least that needs to happen. What actually needs to happen, if there's going to be any peace or future if in this century, is that an international coalition needs to disarm the state of Israel of their nuclear warheads and arrest all of the leadership of their government, and to basically dissolve it as a political and military entity. And I know people always assume that that's like, oh, that's genocidal. You know, you want to destroy Israel. It's just like, well, there are a lot of ways it could happen. There are, more peaceful ways than others. But yes, Israel as a state and a military needs to be destroyed. Otherwise, like, are you liking what's happening so far? Because, like I said, like, their goal here is to like make sure that this conflict cannot be de-escalated, that cannot be negotiated peacefully.
If you think your Instagram Reels page is bad now, wait until gas is $15 a gallon. Wait until only the richest people can afford to keep their TVs on for more than an hour a day. Wait until the ultimate price of American comfort is paid for this shitty fucking country. I have always hated this line, probably the most out of all the stupid lines that, are not meant to defend Israel, but are meant to police the language around it on the left. This specific line has always driven me fucking crazy. This one where it's like, there's a lot more Christian Zionists than Jewish Zionists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can get rid of them too.
Obviously. But it's like, if there weren't a few million Jews willing to live and occupy that part of the world, there weren't a few million more in the lobby willing to bring the world to the brink of oblivion for that state, then it would just be a weird offshoot fucking subculture within Christianity. I'm sorry, but it's fucking true.
Exactly. And like the message,
it would be like those American guys who are like, the true Pope lives in fucking Texas. You wouldn't care about that. Would be nothing.
And like, okay, because like the message being broadcast and received over and over again is that not just Israel is the most important country in the world, our best and greatest ally, but Israelis themselves, or Jewish people writ large, that their lives are worth more than anyone else on the planet.
Look,
and that there is nothing that America can do on their behalf that is out of bounds.
Right. You know what really makes people go fucking insane is when you say you cannot even criticize anyone involved for the things that we all see them do. If you want to see people really go fucking nuts, keep doing that and you will have something to fucking cry about.
And like the question of like, oh, did Netanyahu or Israel drag us into this war? It's like, we all see it. And the fact that nobody can say it, or in a Republican or Democratic Party for the most part, are just incapable of just saying like, yeah, it's them. It's these fucking miserable assholes. These that like this entire society of murderous fucking cretins who, by the way, also it's not like they have any respect for America whatsoever. Like they wouldn't lift a finger to fucking help us. Yeah.
Why would they?
Yeah, no, we are not. We have no pride or dignity. So like, why should anyone else afford us that? The way we debase ourselves for this fucking and it's just like, yeah, like if you feel squeamish or you think it's like, oh, bordering on anti-Semitism to just like call out directly the problem of Zionism and like it's kind of like the commingling of the Zionist project with the American empire. Look, I'm opposed to both of them, but like if you're talking about what American interests actually are here, do you want only figures like Tucker Carlson? Do you want only people on the right to be making that argument? Because guess what? They're going to reap the benefits politically of stating something that everyone knows to be true, of violating a taboo that like is artificially enforced. But once it is said openly, people are just like, oh, well, of course. Right?
Yeah.
So like, the future I mean, like, this war has already been a disaster for this country. Like, I mean, not like, look, and by disaster, I mean, like, we have not suffered at all. I mean, we're way less than we should. But if you're talking about, like, is our economic position, is our diplomatic position, is our relationship with our allies, is it stronger now than it was, like, 6 weeks ago? The answer is obviously not. And, like, and disastrously so. So, I mean, like,
Yeah.
Obviously the blame should be apportioned to our own government, but like the finger pointing doesn't stop there. And someone's going to do it. And just like the utter fecklessness of just like the fucking Democrats, like they have nothing to say about this. They have nothing to say. And they are going to suffer as a result of it. They're going to suffer. I'm like, I think it's a good chance that Trump is so unpopular that like the worst of all possible worlds is that like they actually don't have to really do anything in the midterms of the next presidential election. But like, do you really want to bank on that? Is that, if for instance, like if you believe that like as we're all seeing right now, like Trump and the Republicans being in power is like apocalyptically dangerous and bad, well then like you got to do something. you got to fucking do something about this. Like, and it's interesting. Like we talked about it at our live show with Hassan. Like I think it's very telling that like in the midst of this like global crisis and disaster, when they could be, like I said, directing people's anger not just at Trump but against like the idea of our fucked up relationship with Israel that needs to change.
Or the fact that America's two greatest representatives on the world stage, the guys who are making the most consequential deals for America, their only qualification is if they worked in real estate and had bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, but like it's not a coincidence that like at this time of, like I said, a potential like you said, threads potentially happening to like a major American city, if not the rest of the fucking world. What are they talking about? Hassan Piker. And they're talking about anti-Semitism and how dangerous it is on the left and the right. And you'd be like, oh, Hassan is just like Nick Fuentes. And like, the Democrats are like having their own version of MAGA. And like, and it's all this fucking hand-wringing over this like totally illusory and I'm sorry, like made up anti-Semitism crisis because what Hassan said. And here's the thing. They're saying, oh, Hassan, he's a misogynist. Like, look at all these quotes. He said America deserved 9/11. We all know, like, if he was not stridently pro-Palestinian and anti-Zionist, there is nothing that can be said by any influencer, comedian, or fucking political pundit that these people would regard as out of bounds. As long as you're on board for that, you can be as racist, misogynist. And again, Hassan is none of those things. But like, that's why, for instance, like they have no problem with anyone going on Bill Maher, who in addition to being racist and misogynistic, is 100% Zionist, and will defend and will go out of his way to defend Donald Trump. And like he said on his show the other day that Iran was like a week away from having a nuclear weapon. I mean, I remember watching him during the Bush administration when he was just like WMD's new rule. Like, he was like, he knew that was all bullshit. But like now that the state of Israel is threatened, what I mean here is that like it is not about like what is or what's out of bounds to say or who should be platformed or like is it wrong for a Democratic politician to like speak to a streamer that may have said some like outlandish or offensive things or whatever. There is nothing that any of these people can say, provided you are a Zionist, that is considered out of bounds.
Yeah, it's like you would never hear this criticism for and listen, we love this work. We hate the guy, but we think this work is like, I hate this word, but it's generational. No one is like, oh, well, Jake Tapper made gangbanging in media land.
Yeah,
you can't do a show. I mean, the most insane thing with this, too, is that Hassan cares about anti-Semitism about 8,000 times more than I do. And if like he is beyond the pale, it's like, just fucking wait. If you want to get him out of there, and just anyone who he represents a position that is too far, you are really not going to like what comes next. You really are not. I promise you that.
I mean, because like the issue is that like what he is doing is that like he has a big platform. He is popular among young people, but like way more than that, he is, like I said, like the only person. Like I guess broadly, if you want to construe broadly on like the left side of liberal left progressive side of politics, that is giving voice to an issue that is like 90-10 when it comes to Democratic voters. 90-10. Like if you are a Democratic politician, voter, or pundit, or just someone with a Twitter account, and you are standing with Israel right now, you are in a vanishingly small moral minority. And I'm not even talking about people like us who have long been axis of resistance heads. I'm talking about like normal, bougie, liberal Democrats, like your fucking mom and dad. They are disgusted by this in the same way everyone else is. And they look at this and they think like, why the fuck is this pissant country the size of New Jersey able to push around what is supposedly the most powerful country in the world? And also like, how can we speak to like our values supposedly as Democrats and like have nothing to say about this like racist genocidal rape cult that is going to war with the entire world right now? And like because like this issue has gotten so lopsided, and like I said, I will stress once again, it's gotten so lopsided that Matt Yglesias is pretending that like he's always felt that we should cut off Israel in terms of military support and military and diplomatic support, and he's saying it now like, of course we all know that. And he's like, yeah. Democrats should they should, of course they should go left on Israel, but like go right on every other issue. I mean, like he's a slug, but like he knows where the fucking wind is blowing. It's like the only value add that he has as a pundit. He pretend like he's doing it in a way that like absolves him of like everything he said and believed prior to this. Right. But like they know what's happening, and like the point is that like with this war, the genocide in Gaza, like which opened the gates to all of this, that once again people forget it was Joe Biden that did that. It was Joe Biden that opened the gates he cracked open that door to hell, and we are on the fucking freeway to Hades right now.
I think it is very crucial to point out that with just like normal Democratic, registered Democrats and just Democratic leaning voters, that this disgust and anger at American policy being dictated on these terms and the outcomes, it is not just like, oh, gas is more expensive. It is like the actual moral rot of living in a country where we are the death of all those little girls.
Yeah, I think about that all the time, Felix.
Burned and crushed to death by this alcoholic rapist and fat pedophile, by everyone else, to live with that on your conscience. The thousands of more killed, the possibly hundreds of thousands more killed in Gaza. That it is not just these kitchen table issues. It is everything. It is the weight of knowing what it means to live as an American, with that being the exemplar that you give the rest of the world.
And not only that, I think another problem for the Democrats is like they have, stood for years now as basically like the only thing they do stand for is being opposed to Donald Trump, and with it like an evil fascist dictator he is. And it's like, bet, I believe you, fine, but like I think like even more than like the moral stain and weight of like hundreds of thousands of innocent lives snuffed out by this fucking maniac. But like, look, they were responsible for it too. They did a lot of it. But like, it's also like, if the only thing you stand for is being opposed to Donald Trump, then oppose him. What's the way that they scheduled the War Powers Resolution Act for like mid to late April, and it's like, oh, no rush, guys.
Yeah.
What? Like,
yeah, Jesus Christ.
and then like the other vote where it just so happened that like the four Democrats who voted, like so that it wouldn't pass were like the exact number of votes that like were required so that it wouldn't go forward. What a coincidence that is. And it's just like, that is why all I see on my feed from the media and their pundits is like debates over Hassan Piker and whether he's anti-Semitic or not. Because like, this is what they have left. Like they know how lopsided this issue is. And like, this is the way they're going to try to enforce discipline over this issue. And like, when I see like those fucking like people at the Bulwark, like all of them are just like ex-Republican consultants and fucking like campaign staffers who like are now like, oh, well, we're in charge of the Democratic Party now. So like, we can talk about how problematic Hassan Piker is. It's just like, what, more problematic than fucking Netanyahu? More problematic than any of the people who support Israel on TV every day? Like, I'll put up anything Hassan has said against anything that I've seen said on like CNN, for instance, by Jake Tapper or Dana Bash, for instance.
One of their key founders was a fucking member of the Project for the New American Century.
Yeah, they did 9/11.
Yeah, like what are we fucking doing here?
Yeah,
I like less of the Bulwark, because with like the Bulwark, you do expect that, right? Like it is a comprehensive and long running project to like take the most fun and exciting parts of Bush 2 era conservatism and permanently graft them onto the Democratic Party. More so than that, I have been taking note of is it the Lighthouse Institute? No, Searchlight
Institute. Yeah,
the ex-Fetterman staffer place. This has been their only output. It is really funny. It is like if you founded a think tank to just write papers about one guy.
Yeah,
who's not elected.
And the thing is, like they keep reversing themselves. Like they start out by being like, we need to talk about Hassan Piker. The Democrats have a Hassan Piker problem. The Democrats have an anti-Semitism problem. And then after about a week of that, the line is, nobody cares about Hassan Piker. He's irrelevant. Well, all the voters I talked to, like, none of them know who Hassan Piker is. So we should be talking about different things. Let's say, okay, the different thing that we should be talking about is this insane war that our most wonderful ally, Israel, has embroiled us in to catastrophic effect. Well, it's like, you don't want to talk about that. Like, they have to talk about is Hassan Piker. And the thing is, it's not working. It's not working. They cannot cajole and discipline people in the same way they did, because this shit has gotten so fucking out of control. And people are sick of it. People are sick of this awful fucking country. And by that, I mean both America and Israel, but Israel in particular.
Yeah.
Did you see Olivia Reingold?
She's had a good week.
She's had a really good week. What was the thing? He was at who's the guy in Michigan that he was campaigning with? Abdul El-Sayed.
Yeah.
This is great. This is Olivia Reingold post that everyone's talking about. Abdul El-Sayed, who is Muslim, walks a fine line on the Jewish state. On Tuesday night, he told the crowd, as he often does, that his problem is not with Jews. All of us love and revere Jewish folk, our Jewish neighbors, the faith of Judaism, he said, hands outstretched. Later that night, in a makeshift spin room assembled by the campaign, he rebuffed my question on whether he believes in Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state.
I'm sorry, we're going to have to move on to the next person. I'm sorry, Olivia.
As a Jewish state.
Olivia, we're going to have to
I'd love to take the question. I'd love to take the question. Actually, what do you mean by Jewish state?
I feel like
if you can't define the question, I'm not going to answer your question.
What do you mean by Jewish state? He retorted, narrowing his eyes. If you can't answer that question, I'm not going to answer it. For someone who often waves around his respect for Judaism, he seemed unaware of something elementary. Judaism is not only a religion, but a people with a long-standing connection to Israel that runs through its prayers, traditions, and history. Olivia, didn't you just become Jewish like last week?
I love her.
She rules. She fucking
love
rocks.
her so
And like,
much.
the thing everyone's making fun of her, when she says like his eyes narrowed. Like,
yeah.
Like, come on, you're like,
yeah. Hey, who is Muslim?
He said Islamically.
Yeah. It is like a Ben Shapiro novel.
Yeah. Yeah. A bear of a man. He spoke to a crowd.
Yeah. This is a real throwback. I don't know how many people are going to remember. Well, I don't even know if you'll remember this, but do you remember when there was that like German guy there's like this right-wing German guy who like clearly was living in a group home.
Oh yeah. One of our early fans. Yeah.
Make videos about us.
Yeah.
Just like speaking into like a really shitty quality webcam. And we had this whole joke where we were like, this guy, he's in charge of the alt-right. He's like their most important guy. That's how I feel with Olivia Reingold and Zionism.
Yeah.
I would like, she's the head one. She's the best and most important one. They all like kind of follow her orders. I think like just like our alternative future where like Clay Higgins is the token opposition in our government. That is how I feel about Olivia. Like, I think she has more than, I love her. That fake John Oliver sketch where she like says that John Oliver would call her fat.
And like, yeah, he didn't mention what she looked like at all. At all.
He's like Anthony Cumia.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so, I love her.
She rocks.
Don't have a bad word.
Felix, I did discover a great post of her from January of this year. Speaking to like, her longstanding and deep connection to the, faith traditions and practice of Judaism in the state of Israel.
She sounds like Josh Shapiro. My faith. I get right with my preaching.
Oh my God. And Josh Shapiro's another one. When I see him have to answer questions about the war in Iran or like, did Israel influence into this war? And he's like,
I drink too much E&J. I ain't see it. What? Gosh,
I said, goddamn. I like what he said. Like Felix, he was just like, I got to get right with my preacher man.
Yeah.
He's like,
faith.
He's like, instead of saying, he's like, I need to see you there on Sunday, but he says Saturday instead. I saw him being asked. He was asked a question. He was like as a member of like the Jewish American diaspora, how do you feel about like Israel's role in starting this war? It wasn't said in exactly those terms, and he's like, hold on, Chief, let me stop you there. No, he was like, I view this issue as an American.
Let me talk to you, Pippin.
He was like, I view this issue as an American. Like, this is an American issue to me. And then he goes on to only talk about how important Israel is, and it's just like,
he's awesome.
Yeah, he fucking. But this is what I mean is like these contradictions cannot like the yawning chasm between like what everybody sees going on and what our politicians are allowed to say. It only just confirms in everyone's mind that like Israel is absolutely controlling all of these people. Because if that weren't the case, they would speak in a manner that like doesn't sound so absolutely like fundamentally contradictory and illogical. They would not be so obviously cowed and kind of like a gun shy about this. She's like, well, I think about this issue first and foremost as an American. Really? It's like, I would think so. You're a fucking, you're a fucking like governor, like,
it is such Josh Shapiro, he'll never have one as good as Kamala as the child of a middle class family, but he's really good at sort of like meaningless as like
or Cory Booker too.
I speak of this as an American, as opposed to what? A guy from the Isle of Man. You want to be president? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Talking about trying to get some cheap heat.
Yeah, I'm like Cory Booker too. When he's asked about it, that's the other thing. Cory Booker's like, I wouldn't appear with Hassan Piker because like I have a problem with things he said. Dude, that's you appear in photographs with Benjamin Netanyahu and Rabbi Shmuley all the time. You're like kissing Rabbi Shmuley on the mouth in like a dozen photos. You're gazing adoringly at Netanyahu, appearing on stage with him. You want to go down the list of the things that those guys have said?
Yeah.
You can get mad about saying America deserved 9/11, All of these people have said that like the Palestinian people deserve a lot worse than that, and the difference is they're actually doing it.
Yeah, that is a crucial point.
If you have a problem with a Democrat appearing with Hassan Piker, fine, make your case. But unless you can fucking reserve that some, I don't know, proportionate amount of outrage for how many Democratic politicians have appeared with Israeli figures from the Israeli military and government, or who have like served in the Israeli military themselves, or worked for the Israeli government, like Josh Shapiro, fucking spare me. You're in a fuck going on someone's stream. You've appeared multiple times with Adolf Hitler, supported him in every fucking way. Like, you want to talk about what's more offensive, what's more racist or bigoted or out of bounds? Spare me, give me a fucking break. That's what I'm saying. Is like this level of like this annoying entitlement that is driving everyone insane.
Also, like, again, why is this like the after 2024, after the loss in the general election, it was like, okay, people hate this sort of like mawkish, scoldy, hyper punitive type of language, except on this one thing, they fucking love it.
Yeah, they love it.
Why here?
Well, because like
again, it's like this is the one thing where you're allowed to be, in their minds, I guess, principled on.
Well, not only that, I've seen multiple takes from like the same like sort of Hassan scolders, where they're like, you know, if courting anti-Semitism like Nick Fuentes, but from the left, is like, if that's what it takes for Democrats to win elections, then maybe we don't. Maybe there's something more important than just winning elections. It's just like, well, shit, that was my fucking take about voting for Kamala Harris. Yeah. Oh, you know, like now you've discovered that like there is a moral stance on the issue of Israel that like that you've placed above the necessity of keeping Republicans out of power because of how fucking bad and evil they are. Shit, I agree with you. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, oh, now the shoe's on the other foot, and they're like, you know what? Even though we probably could win, you know, back all, you know, like both Congress and the White House if we just said fuck Israel, and not only that, if we just started bombing and killing their fucking if we just killed Netanyahu.
Yeah.
And then they're like, now you discover that like, oh, actually there are things more important than winning elections. And you know what? It's like, it's keeping our soul. It's keeping our soul free from the tinge of anti-Semitism on the left.
Yeah. And again, like, not that these people wouldn't give a shit, but like, Hassan is not even fucking, you could not remotely call him anti-Semitic in any stretch of the imagination. And just like in general, like any halfway competent party, no matter how cynical, would be like, they would look at this guy who, what do they say in baseball? Looks great looking, getting off the bus. I think that's what they would say.
Yeah.
And is like willing to work with like, at least, you know, candidates that he has, some level of ideological, similarity to, cares about the broader goal of like, you know, defeating this sort of like, far right, nationalism. You would go, holy shit, we won the fucking lottery. This guy who's like an amazing broadcaster and speaker, incredibly charismatic. But instead, it's like, can we get Peter Hamby instead, actually? Can this guy go kill himself and we can get Peter Hamby back there?
Yeah, how about Cheryl Longwell? That
Who is she? I know so many of these people. I've never heard of Sarah Longwell.
She's some fucking, like I said, like she's just some Republican moo cow who's like, you know, decided Trump was, you know, like just saw in the Democratic Party a more competent vehicle for like her fascist ideology and goals.
Yeah,
and like, you know, and that is the truth. Like, you look at a guy like Richard Hanna-Barbera, openly he's like, yes, I am a fascist, but like, right-wing fascism is too stupid for me because I'm such an intelligent, high IQ person. But I got to give him credit because I think he has realized a lot. You know, I guess he's ahead of the curve of a lot of people on the quote dissident fascist right. Is that like American liberalism is a much more suitable and effective vehicle for creating the fascist, racist state and like, you know, like maintaining the hierarchies of racial supremacy that you think is, you know, like basically your life's calling. Because I'm saying, like, the Democrats will more competently execute a plan of like global genocide. Because like, when Trump does it, everyone notices it. You know,
Yeah.
I guess just closing out, I did want to read this post from Olivia Reingold, because I thought this was really great. This is from January this year, and like, she just had some piece out about how, like, I'm an October 7th Jew. Like, before it was just something that I didn't really think too much about, but now I've like recommitted myself to, like,
Because you're not Jewish.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She writes here, being half Jewish has been one of the most painful experiences of my life. Being half Jewish growing up in America in the 21st century is one of the most painful experiences of your life.
You had a pretty good fucking life then.
Yeah, just like, well, there was one time 5 years ago where I stubbed my toe really hard and like the toenail fell off and turned purple. That and being half Jewish in America. So she says here, I just spoke with a rabbi about the possibility of taking Hebrew classes. He was lovely, but when he learned that my mother is not Jewish, he told me he'd have to check to make sure I could still attend. I tried not to cry.
That was the excuse.
Yeah. I tried not to cry, apologized, and hung up. It's not unlike being mixed race. The Gentiles think you're too Jewish.
It is actually a lot unlike that, I would say. It is not like that.
It's not unlike being mixed race. The Gentiles think you're too Jewish, and the Jews think you're not Jewish enough. Well, I can't speak to the second, but I gotta say, Olivia, no Gentile in this country gives a fuck about whether you're not whether you're too Jewish or not. Certainly not in any fucking social circle you've ever lived in.
Yeah, it just like, has anyone ever seen her and been like, who's that dumb shtetl bitch? Like, she just, I'm sorry.
Her teeth are stained red by the fucking beets and borscht that she's been slurping her whole fucking life, and some sort of like...
Yeah. Yeah, go back to Palo Settlement, you idiot. I don't think anyone's saying that.
Like, nobody... the Gentiles think you're too Jewish. That is absolute cap. Olivia, like,
literally taking like the Earl sweatshirt line. Yeah. Too white for the black kids, too black for the white. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's maybe in 17th century Spain.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, like,
now in America.
Where did Olivia grow up again? Like, I don't know, like California or DC, probably. Like, I don't know, but like, yeah, like all my Gentile friends, just that they kept forcing me to eat prosciutto,
Yeah.
Like it's the Reconquista era of Spain.
Yeah. If we find out that it's like, I actually got like, my dad was involved in time machines, and so I grew up in the past, I would be like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. But I just don't think that's the case.
And yeah, like the thing that's true is that, like, if you are a very religious Jewish person, Olivia is not Jewish. You are indeed, I'm sorry, Olivia, you are indeed not Jewish enough.
Yeah. Like for Orthodox, if you are like, you convert from Reform, for them that's like nothing. That's like converting from nothing. It is just like a blank slate. You're converting from Christianity, and I have like a cousin who did that. But she's like, she's made of tougher stuff than Olivia. They made her. It was like training with Pei Mei from Kill Bill. But she, credit to her, she did it. I don't know why, but she did it.
Well, she says yes. It's not unlike.
You read this fucking article.
Okay, like the next line is great. She says, it's not unlike being mixed race. The Gentiles think you're too Jewish, and the Jews think you're not Jewish enough. So I feel like I'm nothing.
I think that's a you problem. I'm just gonna if you. That's
and the world is, and the world often agrees. Friends, especially non-Jews, have told me I'm not really Jewish. It's like, dude, the rabbi just told you that, Olivia. Was he your friend?
This is like if I wrote an article where I'm like, I'm so sick of people like mistaking me for like gay or bi. Every time I close my eyes, I hear this one friend who I've never actually seen scream, "Felix, you're gay." I see it I hear about it while walking by mirrors. It's really like this is a societal problem that everyone has to deal with.
And he writes, and I see why they think that. For generations, my ancestors were Jews. My great-grandfather came to America to escape the pogroms in Europe. His son, my grandfather, married a Jewish woman named Thelma, and they raised 3 sons to be Jews. My father, like his brothers, was bar mitzvahed and still attends temple, but he fell in love with my mother, an atheist, and they both decided religion wasn't important. What mattered was they raised their kids to be good people. they fail on that part.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know if
that's
yeah.
more. You're more not that than
they might have succeeded there, but what they failed to realize is that their daughter might want to be Jewish, and that their decisions would make that nearly impossible. So now you're blaming it on your fucking parents. You're blaming your dad for fucking marrying a not Jewish woman. And being like, yeah, religion isn't that important.
Janice Soprano. You know, her parents are just like exhausted by her.
Yeah.
She's like, well, it's your fault. I'm not either.
Yeah. I'm nothing. You've made me nothing.
I'm nothing. And the world often agrees.
Yeah. It's just some family members have encouraged me to hit the books. I think they mean that literally. I think they mean like just to headbutt a fucking encyclopedia. To find or to find groups to attend. But when I try, I'm either embarrassed by how little I know or I'm asked about my lineage. When I was a reporter in Montana, I used to volunteer with girls from the Northern Cheyenne Nation. They would tell me that they didn't feel like,
I bet that was great for, I bet they were looking forward to those visits every week.
They would tell me that they didn't feel like real Indians. Their words, not mine. Many of them had light skin and were ashamed at not knowing their native language. It's strange to say, but I could relate.
Okay, yeah, it is very strange to say that. I agree.
Yeah, they didn't even know where to start. How do you learn as a teenager what you should have learned as a toddler? And would their elders even take them seriously?
I think that's a problem you have to confront a lot, Olivia.
I ask myself the same things, except I'm an adult, not a teenager.
Debatable.
I used to think my journey would be embracing my Jewish heritage, learning Hebrew and growing closer to God. But I think I am getting pointed in the opposite direction. Maybe I am not Jewish and my family hasn't been for a long time. I'm embarrassed of what my ancestors might think, but maybe what they judge the most is that I ever thought I was Jewish at all. This is the pain of being half Jewish. Like if your fucking ancestors who were fleeing the pogroms in fucking Russia in like the 19th century, if they could see your easy, cushy life in America, do you think they would give a shit whether you spoke Hebrew or not?
Yeah. If I could show my great grandfather, I died just before he was born. He was an awesome guy. He loved ice cream. If I could show him like the day when I was at my job once and this girl went, and this skinny white boy, and pointed to me, I was really like, I had a weight cutting obsession at the time. He would like cry in tears of joy. He'd be like, they never called me that.
Yeah.
They never called me skinny white boy. We did it. Everything I was doing, it was worth it. It would be his Antoine Fisher moment.
The pain of being alive. It's hell for everyone, really.
She really, you know what? There are so many people like this who like, they maybe even do have aspirations to, you know, let's say be an intentionally comedic person, we will say, which is definitely the case with Olivia. There's a lot of sketch comedy in her career, part of the Jewish Der Stürmer. And I think like the tragedy with people like that is like they are very funny, but it's just like they'll never know like why they are funny.
Yeah,
because it's definitely not intentional. They can never know the things that make them hilarious to the rest of us, because it would be an ego death experience. But like they are. It is a very Twilight Zone-y curse.
His eyes narrowed. The funniest part about that clip is like it's on video. You can just see him like.
Yeah, he just looks horrible. He's just. Yeah.
She was thinking of fucking like who's the villain from Aladdin? Jafar.
Oh yeah, Jafar.
Yeah, she was thinking of that guy.
I love her. I hope she never.
She rocks.
Stops.
She rocks. She rules. We support Olivia on this show. I support all her identity.
Zionism.
I don't think you're nothing, Olivia. I think you're something. You are special.
You're everything.
You matter. You matter. You are somebody. Say like you should say that every morning when you in the mirror when you get up. I am Olivia.
Yeah.
I am somebody. I am important. And like I'm not gonna let anyone dim my shine.
Yeah,
but seriously though, like fuck my parents for making me be alive in this horrible state where I don't know where I'm not.
yeah. It's like, dude, it's like a
fuck my mother for not being
song.
Jewish.
It is like a weird like Jewish identitarian have a nice life song, a possibility I never entertained. It's like the song Burial Society, one of my favorites. We played Burial Society on our way out.
All right, well let's take it out there for today.